Hello everyone, I'm Sneha back on my YouTube channel, Story Session with Sneha. I was reading out to you a story which is differently themed. It's based on loneliness. It's by Anton Chekhov. He has very efficiently and beautifully painted down the thoughts, the hopelessness, the life of a solitary couple at a deserted place. So it's a very new theme, and as I read the story, I really liked the way he has depicted the loneliness of a person. So I would also like you all to comment down below what your take on loneliness. I do feel that at times loneliness can be solace. We need some me time, but it cannot go on for long. We need great company to be with, and loneliness can sometimes be scary too. So please do write in the comment box your thought, and let us proceed with the next part of the story. Outside there was a still frosty night in all its cold inhospitable beauty. The moon and two white fluffy clouds beside it hung just over the station, motionless as though glued to the spot, and looked as though waiting for something. A faint transparent light came from them and touched the white earth softly as though afraid of wandering her modesty, and lighted up everything, the snowdrifts and embankment. It was still. I walked along the railway embankment. Silly woman, I thought, looking at the sky spangled with brilliant stars. Even if one admits that women sometimes tell the truth, what evil can happen to us? The misfortune we have endured already and which are facing us now are so great that it is difficult to imagine anything worse. What further harm can do a fish which has been caught and fried and served with a sauce? A poplar covered with hoar frost looked in the bluish darkness like a giant wrapped in a shroud. It looked at me sullenly and dejectedly, as though, like me, it realized its loneliness. I stood a long while looking at it. My youth is thrown away for nothing, like a useless cigarette end. I went on musing. My parents died when I was a little child. I was expelled from the high school. I was born of a noble family, but I have received neither education nor breeding. And I have no more knowledge than the humblest mechanic. I have no refuge, no relations, no friends, no work I like. I'm not fitted for anything, and in the prime of my powers, I'm good for nothing but to be stuffed here in this little station. I have known nothing but trouble and failure all my life. What can happen worse? Red lights came into the sight in the distance. A train was moving towards me. The slumbering Steve listened to the sound of it. My thoughts were so bitter that it seemed to me that I was thinking aloud, and that the moan of the telegraph wire and the rumble of the train were expressing my thoughts. What worse can happen? The loss of my wife, I wondered. Even that is not terrible. It's not good hiding it from my conscience. I don't love my wife. I married her when I was only a wretched boy. Now I'm young and vigorous, and she has gone off and grown older and sillier, stuffed from her head to her heels with conventional ideas. What charm is there in her mourning love, in her hollow chest, and in her lusterless eyes? I put up with her, but I don't love her. What can happen? My youth is being wasted, as the saying is, for a pinch of snuff. Women flit before my eyes only in the carriage windows, like falling star. Love I never had and have not. My manhood, my courage, my power of feeling are going to ruin. Everything is being thrown away like dirt, and all my wealth here in the steep is not worth a farthing. The train rushed past me with a roar and indefinitely cast the glow of its red light upon me. I saw it stop by the green lights of the station, stop for a minute, and rumble off again. After walking a mile and a half, I went back. Melancholy thoughts haunted me still, painful as it was to me. Yet I remember I tried as it were to make my thoughts still gloomier and more melancholy. You know, people who are vain and not very clever have moments when the consciousness that they are miserable affords them positive satisfaction, and they even coquette with their misery for their own entertainment. There was a great deal of truth in what I thought, but there was also a great deal that was absurd and conceited, and there was something boyishly defiant in my question. What could happen worse? And what is there to happen? I asked myself. I think I've endured everything. I have been ill, I have lost money, I get reprimanded by my superior every day, and I go hungry, and a mad wolf has run into the station yard. What more is there? I have been insulted, humiliated, and I have insulted others in my life. I have not been a criminal, it is true, but I don't think I'm capable of crime. I'm not afraid of being hauled up for it. In my next video, I'm going to read out the next part of the story. If you haven't listened to the first part of it, please do click to the link in the comment box below and listen to the first part of the story. Do listen all other previous story of mine if you really like my story. Like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.